Hey, 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 happy Sunday, everybody. How y'all doing? I hope you're doing good. It is a beautiful, kind of windy evening here. Not too bad, though. Been a long day. We got a lot of things accomplished today. Still some finish up work. I'll kind of take you guys with me into the playground that we finished today. It feels so good to have it done. I'm not going to lie. The kids are going to love this. And then just a few future plans. I intended, guys, to take you to the garden tonight, and I can still take you out there, but I wanted to plant tomatoes, but I kind of think we have some storms moving in. And the threat of hail tonight is fairly high. I mean, it's mediocre. I shouldn't say it's high. It's mediocre, but you know what? I don't think I want to run the risk of throwing my tomatoes out and get hailed out. Now, I had some other things today that I planted, and I can replant those. So, but the tomatoes, I'd have to go buy more because we don't start those from scratch. So I'd have to go buy more. So I'm kind of thinking I'm going to hold off. So guys, if you're getting on here with me live, if you're catching a red live up in the corner, I'd love it if you would type live in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. And if you're catching me later on, it'll say was live up there. That just means you're catching Facebook's replay, and that is wonderful. Drop replay in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. Guys, my name is Jan. I live in Southeast Nebraska. I love sharing our low-carb to keto type lifestyle. Guys, we had a big lunch today after we finished this project. So Dave and I, neither one are very hungry. Hi, Michelle. So we're kind of I'm foregoing dinner. Where he works, they clean out lockers and spray every 3 months-ish or so. And this weekend was locker clean out, so we had to bring everything home. So he hates carrying it back in the next morning because it's a lot of stuff. So he ran back to work, and I said, okay, I'm going to tidy up my kitchen and stuff like that. Guys, I feel terrible. My kitchen is a disaster. So I need to run in and get a few things done. But I wanted to show you guys what I got done today because pretty basically, other than some edging around the playground, we're done. And it feels so good. My muscles are going to love me for taking a break. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to turn you guys around here. Now, I do daycare for a living, guys. So, I'm busy. I'm on the go all the time. Hi, Joyce. Lisa, how are you? So, I am busy all the time. And, daycare does present issues. I mean, I'm fixing 2 meals a day plus a snack for the kids. And if you have cravings and stuff like that, it's really easy. I used to do it. It's really easy to, hey, Natasha, hey, Melissa. It's really easy to snack on their stuff. So that's why I love the products that we use because it helps curb my cravings so that I can get through the meals and stuff like that. I eat my own stuff. They do eat, I eat some of the stuff with them. It depends on the day. But let's just put it this way. The creditable foods that they sometimes can have are not things that I usually eat, okay? Hey, Crystal. So, that's like I said, it can be tempting, pizza, stuff like that. I don't, the crusts on all that stuff, it's not the toppings, it's the crusts and stuff. So I choose not to eat it, but, it does present some challenges, but that's why I love the products that we do. Okay, sorry if you guys are catching wind noise. I'm going to try to cover that up, but I'm going to turn you guys around here and I'm just going to show you my backyard, okay? This area over here is all nasty. This is where my swing set used to sit. That was covered up with a bunch of these black mats. They're old horse stall mats, actually. So this area, I'm going to let it go now because we're getting into the heat of summer in Nebraska. But in the fall, I'm going to tear all this up and I'm going to regrass this area, okay? Now, we are having a good day, Sam. The chain link fence creates an issue. So I have to edge along here and we're taking some of this black mat like this and we're sliding it underneath, and then I'm going to fasten that all down. So there will be an edge on the inside and an edge on the outside, so the mower can get up close enough to it to mow along the fence, and plus be in here to mow for that. And then as you can see, we placed a ground barrier underneath all these tiles, and that will be covered with the same type of black stuff like this. So that will prevent, as you can see on down there, there's some grass growing in, and that should prevent that somewhat. And then like at this edge, I told Dave, I said we need to kind of edge it off, finish it off. So we put 4x4s in here and just kind of tapered it all away from the house. So that's kind of what we did. Now I'll take you right here. You know, I had a lot of this equipment. This is going to be great because even if it's been wet, so many times when we got rain, I still couldn't let the kids out here because it was muddy. I mean, they trample down the grass and you don't get grass to grow. So this will be really nice for them. They'll have area here. That toy box is going to move up in here so that I can lock it shut at night. And then, yeah, we had all this, this swing set. This winter, we had a blizzard that actually moved the swing set about 6 inches, tried to collapse that one leg. So Dave and I were out here in the blizzard setting this all back up, but they've got this all, the legs all anchored down on this now. So the kids can't tip it over, and hopefully no more blizzards walk away with it. So kind of nice. You know, I moved a few things around up here. The kids will be able to play. This is kind of for the younger kids. They like to go in and play house and do whatever. I do still have Mama Bird up there. She's been flying out, in and out all day. Hi, Vonda. Flying in and out all day, feeding those babies. So pretty cool. But, and that's kind of what we've been doing here. We had to take out a tree last fall, and it was a big shade tree, and that stinks, I'm not gonna lie, because that tree sat right there and it shaded this area really well. But the tree was an ash. Nebraska does have emerald ash borers, so they were telling us we needed, we needed to replant something nearby. Hi, Shirley. So we took that, I think I heard thunder. I'm not real sure. We took that tree out because it was also root bound. The taproot was not growing right. It had a funky trunk on it. They called it an elephant foot. So you know how the elephants have their toes go out, and that's kind of what this one did. It had a big old area around the base that kind of knuckled out, and then the trunk went up. So they said it was going to die eventually. So we just took that out when we had the chance, and now we have a new tree. Just a little bit different area. We kind of wanted to put it a little different because this tree actually will have a wider canopy on it. Hey, Cayenne, Nancy, how are you guys? This tree will have a wider canopy on it, so it'll cover things. And then I told Dave, I said, I think maybe in the wintertime, this might help the way the wind rushes through this area. I don't really know. I'm hoping it'll be kind of a windbreak from the north. This is kind of north of our house. Hi, Kale. So this is a sycamore tree. Now, guys, the leaves to me kind of look a little bit like, hi, Debbie. They look to me kind of like a maple leaf, but they're not. And then it's got these little fuzzy things on it. He told me those would just drop off. They don't get hard. I thought when we were buying it, I really thought that it was something that wasn't going to have any fruit as per se on it. And so, yeah, we all have to wait until it's mature. I told Dave, I said, hey, you know, hopefully we live long enough to see it grow. But the guy came out, planted it for us where we bought it. They had a special deal going. He would come plant it for us. He really knew what he was doing, I'm not going to lie, because he tied that tree up in the wind that we had the other day, and it wiggles at the top, but it does a pretty darn good job. And then he put a bunch of tree stuff in the base and made sure it was planted right and straight and all that kind of stuff. So now we just have to water it every day, and we have been doing that. So hopefully, he said it should grow about 6 to 8 inches a year. So, you know, that's not going to be a bad tree in a few years. So I'm hopeful. But anyway, I did get into the garden a little bit today, guys. I planted a few cucumbers. I planted some squash, some okra, and the radishes. We have been harvesting some radishes already. I don't know if I've got any more out here, but I'm excited. I'm ready for the garden to go. And like I said, then we've got all these raised beds. I like the raised beds. I love them. I'm not gonna lie. I don't have to get down and weed them. We did do a ground barrier all the way around this. Hi, Jewel. All the way around this garden so that it's nice. It does get warm. You may have to make sure you have shoes on because it's black, but just kind of cool. Dave and I come out this morning. We were getting some rhubarb. The rhubarb looks fantastic. We were getting some rhubarb for some more rhubarb salsa. If you missed my live the other night about rhubarb salsa, you need to go find it. The recipe is in my group, Diabetic Eats with Jan and Dave. If you're not in the group and you want to be in the group, you need to drop group in the comments, and I'll get you a link so that you can get over there. And it's a really simple recipe. There's rhubarb and pickled onions and some green onions. And you wouldn't have to use green onions. You can use any onion. Some jalapenos, and a vinegar and like honey type sauce on it. Not much honey at all. So it should be good. But when we were out here this morning, I had to laugh at my husband. Hey, Joel. The peonies are starting to bloom. Peonies are something that is near and dear to his heart. His dad had a whole bunch in the backyard, and he leaned in when he was out here today and smelled them. And now Dave's dad, his backyard was iris and peonies. Absolutely beautiful when they were blooming. Absolutely beautiful. I wish I had room for the iris, because I know where all of his iris went. He had like every type of, and now he didn't use Japanese iris or anything like that. He felt like the big iris were the ones, that's all he ever planted. But he had almost every color there was. And I would just love to be able to have some here, but I don't really have room for them. But he came out and smelled the peonies, and he was like, oh my gosh. But Dave's parents always decorated graves on Memorial Weekend, and they would actually go into their yard, get into the yard and cut peonies and iris and just put them in homemade vases and take them out and decorate graves of their parents and grandparents and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a sentimental moment for him, and they do smell wonderful when they're blooming. So anyway, guys, I decided tomatoes are waiting until tomorrow night. This storm seems to be rolling in, and like I said, the threat of hail, it's just not something I want to risk tonight. So I'll be waiting, and maybe tomorrow night we'll get tomatoes in. We'll see what happens. But it's been a big day. Jan's really tired. Jan needs to tell Jan that Jan's not 30 anymore. And yeah, these projects I have going on really have taken a toll. But there again, I have some great products that have helped me in a lot of different ways. With, getting the joints lubed up and whatever. So I love doing what I do. I love getting out and being active and sharing with you guys too, okay? So that's kind of all I have tonight, guys. I know I'm kind of boring, but we did wings, and I always buy naked wings, no sauce, no nothing like that. We use our own sauces then. We did wings. I had the salsa And we had a few tortilla chips. Tortilla chips are not super high carb. You can use tortilla chips, a few of them. And then pork rinds are another good one. There's getting to be a lot more chips out there, guys, that are low carb. So if you were to Google low carb or keto chips, I know they're making some out of chicken. The brand is Wild. Quest chips are available. They're more like a Dorito, something like that. That's a great option for you. But those types of things. We had a broccoli salad, which is a great option. Lots of good stuff in the broccoli salad. I'm trying to think what else. Can't remember. But, some fruits. Which, like there was blackberries, which are good. Any berry is a good option. There was some pineapple. In moderation, that's good. Watermelon. Again, you don't want to eat half the watermelon, but some watermelon is not a bad idea, okay? All in all, it was a great day. I love the fact that this is fairly well done. I told Dave, I said, now we can start staking down all the edging and that type of stuff, and just slowly finish this up like we want to have it finished. So guys, if you have any questions about the group Diabetic Eats with Jan and Dave, you can drop them in the comments. You can send me a private message. Really, the best way to get in touch with me is always by private message. If you have any questions, just message me. Tap my name on Facebook. Shoot me a message. I'll be more than happy to help you out, okay? Now, if you're not in the group and you want to be in the group for all the recipes that I share, drop group in the comments. And if you could use any of the benefits I talked about with the supplements, drop info in the comments and I'll get back to you about the supplements that we use, because I'm not going to lie. We started this project this morning. We were up and going by 6:30. We actually got started on this about 7:30 to 8 o'clock. We finished it up about noon today. But I worked last weekend from probably 8 o'clock in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. So I was very thankful to have this done today. We had to cut a lot of the tiles when we got up next to the sidewalk, when we got up next to the house, but the kids were here to help. So I am thankful for the energy that I get from these supplements every single day, not gonna lie. Hey, Karen. So I'm gonna get on out of here. I got to get a few things done in the house, and then I am gonna hit the shower because look at this. This is my pants that I have been gluing. All these tiles have to be glued together. I am not going to wash the pants. They are going in the garbage, but that is the amount of work I have done in the last 2 weekends. I'm almost embarrassed to show you guys that. I'm not going to lie. It's crazy. But anyway, it's well worth it. The kids are going to love it. My grandkids are going to love it to boot. So it's fun to be able to still move and do what needs to be done. So you guys, if you have any questions, let me know. If you need in the group, you know what to do. If you need info on the products, you know what to do. And that's all I got tonight, guys. Pray we don't get any severe weather tonight too, I guess. But anyway, hey, Lori, how are you? So I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday evening. Have a great work week ahead, and we'll talk to y'all later. Smile. Pass that smile on to the next guy. You might help him out. So chat later, guys.